God damn it, J.J. Abrams. Fuck. Oh, man. My body can't take any more of these movies. Alright. Hi, everybody. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Michelle.
And this is our post-Geek Out reaction to 10 Cloverfield Lane. Now, this is a brand new thing that we're doing on this channel in an attempt to get out there more content because, as you know, on the Professor Thorgy channel, we cover everything from the world of geekery, whether it be comic books, video games, movies, cartoons, anything in between. And that means that there's a lot of shows that we have to do, and we can't quite cover everything that I want to do. So we've started doing these post-Geek Out reactions, where it's our immediate thoughts and immediate feelings about something right after we see it. In case you guys didn't tune in to the previous episode, I just want to reiterate for everybody out there who might be concerned, this is not replacing the reviews. The reviews are things where I actually sit down, I type out a script, I come up with skits, I get props for it. That's actually professional. I actually plan that stuff out. It can take like weeks for me to get everything ready for that. So might as well go ahead and say this now. Sorry that we didn't have another review up this week. I know last week I said it is definitely coming out this week. It was just delayed because we were on vacation. However, this week that new Civil War trailer dropped and I had to make 2 videos for that within the course of 48 hours. And that kind of took up all my time that I had for the review. But next week, I swear to God, next week we're finally doing the Gravity Falls review.
Well, as you know, the trailer comes out and you gotta do a review for that.
I don't give a shit what comes out next week. Watch like the Doctor Strange trailer finally drops next week. God damn it. You know it's going to happen too, damn it. So yeah, this is just a really easy way for us to get out there and give our honest feelings, covering as many things as we can. But because it's our honest feelings and it is just us reacting to the thing we just saw, I have to stress this, spoilers are totally on or off or however you want to say it. We're going to go full spoiler on this.
Full spoilers.
Alright, so if you're someone out there who has already seen 10 Cloverfield Lane and you want to just hear people talk about the stuff that was actually in the movie and not just do a review, that's what this is. Or if you're someone out there who doesn't want to see 10 Cloverfield Lane, but you want to know what the hell is happening in that movie, this is also for you. So first thing that we have to say is that, okay, let's just go ahead and address the giant tentacle monster in the room.
Or out of the room.
Out of the room. Is this a sequel to Cloverfield? Maybe. Kinda. Yeah, it's... Here's the thing. As soon as the movie ended, we started talking while the credits were rolling, and the first thing I said was, okay, so I guess that, okay. The first thing I said was, okay, so it looks like this is going to be an anthology. And you said, I have no problem with that. I said, yeah, because, you know, looking back at that previous movie, and, you know, everybody's wondering, does it relate to that? And you went, yeah, it totally does. I was like, wait, what? Because I didn't think it related at all. I thought it was totally separate from that. And then as the credits were rolling, we started talking about it, and I was like, oh, crap, it kind of could. There's nothing in here that says that it isn't connected to that. So yeah, let's just go ahead and say what this movie is, and throughout the course of talking about this film, we'll get into whether or not this is part
We'll get into more detail, basically.
Yeah, we'll actually get into weird theories on and such. But yeah, so this is a movie starring Mary Elizabeth Winstead as...
Michelle.
Yeah. I am awful with names for anybody, whether it be a fictional character in a movie or a living person in real life. However, the moment that they said her name was Michelle, I was like, oh, I'll be able to remember that one. Yeah, okay. I didn't know if I wanted to go yeah or yay, so I went yay.
You're like a combination of the two. Yay!
Okay. But yeah, so she is clearly running from something. Like, it opens with her on the phone. Well, no, she's not actually on the phone.
They open with her packing up.
Packing up, and she's clearly trying to get the hell out of someplace. But not like she's in danger, but more just like, fuck this shit. Just like packing her stuff in a bag.
More like distraught.
Yeah, like she's going through a breakup.
Yeah, that's basically it.
And as she's driving out of town, like, because the moment this thing starts, I was looking for clues. I was looking all over this thing for clues of how it was going to relate, because I knew they were not going to come in here and go, oh yeah, we're going to show you the Cloverfield monster right at the beginning of the thing. Like, I was looking for clues all throughout this of how it could possibly relate, and as she's driving out of town, no one is around. Like, she's going over what looks like a populated bridge, not a single other car there, the city looks empty, and I was like, okay, clearly some shit has gone down. They're not saying what. They're not saying if it has to do with the giant Cloverfield monster over in New York. But, yeah, man, the moment that it starts, it's like something is happening. And she even stops at a gas station, like way out in the woods. And it makes sure to show you nobody is in that gas station. No one is running it. Everything is on automatic right now. So it's like, all right, shoot. Okay, another clue. And the second that I started going, okay, I think that I know what's going on, a car drives up and parks at the gas pump behind her. And I was like, okay, well then clearly there are other people out there. But is this some weird scavenger person out there who's like, oh, he's gonna like try and attack her or something? Like, this movie is so tense right off the bat.
Yes, it's just immediately starts out with tense.
Immediately is so tense that it's like, oh god, is there a Cloverfield monster attacking? Is there some kind of a post-apocalyptic thing happening here?
Why is she running away? What's going on?
To the point in which just seeing another car at a gas station made me go, oh fuck, shit's about to go down. Shit's about to go down right now. Shit didn't go down.
Not yet.
But then she leaves, she starts driving along, and her car gets jackknifed, just gets rammed into. And this is the one thing that I will go ahead and warn people about. This movie is loud with its sound effects. And that works great later on in the bunker, but I almost went deaf from that car crash. Some people like the volume that loud, I don't know, maybe it's just me. But yeah, so she gets attacked. Well, not attacked, but she just gets rammed into. And then she wakes up chained to this little cot in this bunker that is being run by John Goodman, who, what was his name, William?
Howard.
Howard. Why was I thinking Winston? Not even fucking close. Are there any letters in Winston that are in Howard?
W.
That might fuck. But yeah, anyway, so he's this guy Howard, and it becomes clear right off the bat, he is a conspiracy nut. He is crazy. And they slip it in there really well because he is telling her that, listen, you can't go outside. We're in a bunker right now. There was an attack. And he starts slowly describing the attack, and you don't know if he's like a predator, you don't know if he's like a serial killer who's keeping her there, or if he's being actually genuine. But then he slowly goes, yeah, it could have been the Russians. I was like, oh, he's kind of a conspiracy nut. Or God forbid the Martians finally found their way to Earth. I was like, oh, he's fucking crazy. Man, and they slip it in there so much that it's like, you feel exactly like if someone had mentioned that in real life. Like if you were talking to someone and they just slipped in there and you'd be like, wait, what? But you, like I was a double take at the screen. But she's in there along with someone else, Emmett. I know that name. Because that was the most stereotypical farmer name they could come up with. But yeah, he's another guy in there, Emmett. And you're kind of wondering, like, what's his connection to him? Like, he seems kind of dumb. So you're thinking off the top of your head, it's like, okay, he's like a patsy. He's somebody who this guy has convinced the world's ending, and it's not really ending. But then as he starts to talk to her, he's like, no, I saw it with my own eyes. And he can't describe it because he's not that smart, but you can still tell from the way that he's talking, this was a thing. He saw a thing happen. You don't know what, but it was definitely not just some natural phenomenon. And he's not just some dumb patsy that he convinced of this. He was a guy who was hired to help build this bunker.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like, okay, so he came running there as soon as whatever this thing is happened. And from there, it is just fucking the next hour of this is just pure solid tension. It's them there in this bunker, and you're wondering when something is going to happen.
You're also like wondering like what's up with Howard and what's going on outside.
Yeah, they play that so well because like they introduce stuff about the outside so slowly. Like Howard wants to convince Michelle that it's not safe out there, and he takes her upstairs and he shows her the little like hole that you can look out. And you see these two pigs over there, and they are rotting. They've got like giant puzzes and holes in their body, and it's like that's what happens when you breathe the air out there. And the entire time he was showing her that, I was looking at the grass, and I was
Me
just
too.
like, yeah, okay, so it wasn't just me. I was looking at the crops, and I was like, the crops are fine. If this was some kind of a chemical attack, it would not just have attacked the living animals. Those crops would be dead, and the crops are just fine. So I'm like, this dude is full of shit. And also, it then gets revealed, like I said, full-on spoilers, everybody. All right, this is your last chance to turn right. She then sees his truck, and his truck's kind of beat up, and then she has a flashback, and she remembers that was the truck that ran her off the road.
It was the truck that pulled up to the gas station was...
Oh, it was? There was
yes,
one? Oh, okay,
yes.
I didn't even notice that.
No, it was.
Oh, shit. Oh.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, damn.
You just put the two together.
Well, yeah, I didn't think it was that same one. I
no,
didn't.
it was, because, yeah, it's like, yeah, they're the only ones in there, like...
Oh, well, yeah, but
it
it seemed larger to me than that truck. It did. It seemed like a really big, like, tanker truck almost.
No, but it's like, it was just really close up, and, like, you can actually see, like, part of Howard's face in the rearview mirror.
Fuck! I didn't know that! Damn, I'm glad I had you here. Fuck, every time I make a video about something like this, something that's like conspiracies and stuff, someone always comes in and goes, oh, clearly you didn't notice this thing back there. You're keeping me in check on this. All right.
Yes.
Awesome.
I'm gonna keep all the nasty comments away from your YouTube videos.
Fuck, that ain't gonna happen. Actually, you guys are really damn positive.
Yes.
I gotta tip my hat to all of you. You guys, I have some of the best commenters around. In fact, whenever someone is negative in my comments, you guys always jump on and it's like, dude, be cool. And it's like, yeah, there you go. Thanks, guys. But yeah, anyway, back to that. God, that adds a whole new level to it because that means that he then saw her in that. And because I was thinking, he later comes in and admits, yeah, I hit your car, but it's because I was so panicked because I knew what was coming. I heard about the incoming attack, so I was so panicked. I was just trying to get back safely. I tried to pass you, and I was going too frantically, and I accidentally hit your car. I'm so sorry about that. And I believed him in that moment. Like, I thought that was a genuine moment, but if you're telling me that he saw her at the gas station, it's like, no, motherfucker! He saw her and targeted her ass. God damn it! Oh! I'm doing that just for that one motherfucker who hates when I do that, by the way. God damn, this is genuine shock, people. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to... Whew! Okay, so, what the fuck are we talking about? Okay, so yeah, so she sees the pigs, she sees the crops, and it's like, you can tell, like, she's thinking, no, you did some of those pigs to try and convince me of this. And, like, they never mention the crops, but you can tell just from the way she's looking out there, that's like, she doesn't think this is quite right. And then she sees the truck, and she's like, you're fucking lying to me, something is up. And it builds up tension with her trying to escape. I mean, the way that she just bashes him with that bottle, you see that in the trailer, and takes his keys. I mean, that was one of the most tense scenes I've seen in a movie in years. And then she runs out of there, and she is about to leave, and I'm like, shit, man, is this movie already about to leave the bunker? Because I thought the whole film was gonna be in the bunker. Somebody's car pulls up, and it's this moment of like, oh shit, someone else is there. Someone has already found them. I don't know what's going to happen. The person in the car comes running up. They're covered in those same like pusses and pores that the pigs had. They are clearly dying. They're on the spot. And that moment was terrifying. That had me shaking. It's like, there was this horror movie back in 2005, I want to say. 2005, 2006, somewhere around there. But it was called like Right at Your Front Door. And it had one of the scariest trailers I've ever seen for a film. It's like, it was a trailer that genuinely freaked me the hell out. The movie, on the other hand, was meh. But the trailer was amazing, and it was basically just, this guy is in California, his wife goes off to work, he's there at home, and then all of a sudden there's word on the radio, there's a chemical attack happening, and he has to board up his house, and yeah, it's this like fear of like what's out there, what's directly outside your house. And in the trailer it shows that the big tension is that his wife comes up, and his wife is right outside the door, and she's like, honey, let me in. And it's like, you're contaminated, I can't. It's like, and she starts to go nuts and is like, no, let me in. And that scared the hell out of me. This one scene brought all those feelings back, and I went, but this actually worked in the movie, unlike Right at Your Front Door. Yeah, God, that was one of the freakiest goddamn scenes. But then from then on out, the rest of the movie is Mary Elizabeth Winstead, aka Michelle, just going, all right, I guess I'm here. I guess that's it. I'm stuck here. He was telling the truth. And then they kind of bond. Like, there were actually really good moments with Howard. Was that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. There were genuinely good moments with Howard in which he's like revealing a little bit about his past, and about his family, and there's like a great moment in which he's like talking about like a trick that he learned back in the Navy to keep like drinks cold, and I'm like, God, that is such a great moment for his character. And yeah, you still know that he's crazy. You don't forget the stuff they said about the Martians. And also, he like flat out attacks her at one point because he's so like, you're talking about me. What's going on? What are you playing? So yeah, you know he's insane, but the moment that she's like, all right, yeah, okay.
It's like, I'm either here with a crazy person or I go outside and I die.
And that to me is one of the best things about this movie, is that it raises that question in your head of, what would you do in this situation? Let's say that you are trapped in here with this crazy guy, but you can't leave. You can't get out of there. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I would do. Probably learn to cook. Cause yeah, there's a creepy moment when he's like, Megan was a great cook. Megan is his daughter in the film. Megan is a great cook. She's not here anymore. You'll enjoy cooking. And just stares at her like, fuck. Oh, that's weird. That's messed up. But yeah, it's weird how you start to kind of bond with Howard, even knowing he's crazy, because it's like, well, he's not that crazy. He was right about this attack of whatever it was. But then forget all that shit I just said about Howard. Cause yeah, there comes a point in which the and by the way, I should mention that all throughout this, you occasionally will hear stuff above them or the lights will flicker, and like there's a great moment in there that I thought was just a small thing, but later on it turns out to be a big thing, in which they hear was very clearly a helicopter going over. They're like, that could be the military up there. It could. And then he just goes, I was in the Navy. That's nothing I ever heard. And it's like, yeah, he's bullshitting. And then he's like, nah, that chemical attack took out the first wave. And this is the second wave, coming in hunting down survivors like us, just take them out. And like, yeah, you're being paranoid. We'll get back to that. But there comes a moment in which the air tank, the air filtration system, it goes offline. And the only person who can turn it on manually is Michelle, because she's the only person small enough to actually fit through the vents. And I am not claustrophobic in any way, shape, or form. I was getting so claustrophobic in that moment.
Yeah, it's like you see all these movies where people are like, in spy movies where people's like crawling through the vents or doing it easily and they have plenty of room. That's not what it's like at all.
No. She is thin as a rail, and even she is like, oh,
yeah,
God, can't get. Yeah, it's like the amount of like light that could like pass through her body as she was traveling was like, God, she could easily just get stuck at any moment. And he tells her, if you get stuck, we can't come and get you. You're dead.
They'll be dead too because there's no air.
Yeah, she'd take them all out. But she gets there. She turns on the she turns on and off the air ventilation system. Although I gotta say, I was still looking for clues anywhere that I could find them in this movie. As soon as she comes out, there's an envelope at the bottom with some company's name and logo on it. I wanted to pause on that logo so badly. I wanted to go, that is definitely a clue. They're not just showing this by random.
It's like
that's a thing.
It's like I tried to look at the envelope and it's like it was like from Japan or something, like a company from Japan.
Because yeah, there was something in the first Cloverfield film about Japan too. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might have just been. I don't even remember what the line was.
Do you think it might be the same company that tried that?
Oh yeah, because he was moving to Japan. That was it. The main protagonist, he was going to move to Japan in the first Cloverfield film to start working for the company. Maybe it was the same company. I don't know if they ever mention it in that one. Oh shit. Okay, sorry. Sorry, I'm still, like I said, this is fresh in my mind.
Right.
But yeah, okay, so she gets there, she turns it back on, and then she finds another little, like, window out, and that window has help scratched into it. Even, like, with blood at the end, like if someone was, like, clawing off their hand to write this message. And they find a little earring in there. And then she recognizes the earring. The earring was from the photo that he showed her of Megan, his daughter. She then shows that photo to Emmett, and Emmett goes, that's not his daughter. No, this is Brittany so-and-so. She disappeared a couple of years ago. There was a big manhunt for her. It was all in the news. Never found her. I was like, oh, fuck.
and it slowly starts coming together that Howard may be a bit more crazy than we expected.
Not just crazy.
Just
This motherfucker's evil. This dude is a pedophile. She's trapped in there with a crazy conspiracy theory pedophile. And there is this super creepy moment where they find another photo next to that first one that he didn't show her, which has them sitting together like this, and she is clearly not comfortable, and she's wearing this, oh sorry.
It's okay.
And she's wearing the same shirt that he gave her to wear, and it's like, oh fuck. Oh, and now that you tell me that it was him at the gas station, I'm just, in my mind, I'm like, oh, he did target her. He saw her,
Yep.
and he went, and he snatched her ass up on purpose. Oh my god. So yeah, that dude, and then from then on out, it becomes just this terrifying sequence of them just being trapped in there with a fucking crazy ass pedophile. And like I said, it raises that question with you of what would you do in this situation where, okay, if you leave, you die. So would you be willing to stay in this bunker for at least a year or two with this crazy nut job? The moment they throw that in the mix, it's like, no, fuck, you have to find a way out. And it becomes this question of how are you going to find your way out when the outside world will kill you? And I think it's actually brilliant what they did. I know there's going to be a lot of people out there who are probably like, that wouldn't actually work. Because what they do is they take the shower curtain and an old milk jug, and they're able to turn it into a self-made hazmat suit and gas mask. And I just want to bring this up and say to anybody out there who's like, that wouldn't work, this probably says a lot about the town that I grew up in. But that does work, and I know it because they taught it to me in the Boy Scouts. I don't remember how to do it, but as I was looking at like the instructions she was finding in his like Doomsday Prepper books, and as I was watching her like cut up the milk jugs, I was like, I remember all this. I do. It's all coming back to me right now.
like it also helps that Michelle is like a fashion designer, so she knows how to like sew these things together.
They set that up so damn well. By the way, they set that up in everything in this damn movie is set up so freaking well. Like last week when we were talking about Zootopia, I was saying that the conclusion to that movie, I'm not going to spoil it in this one. If you want spoiled, go back to the Zootopia video, but I was talking about how it's like, yeah, the conclusion of like what was causing all these animals, like, I don't feel they set it up. It's like, yeah, they set up one thing in there so they could go back and go, okay, well, we have some evidence of it. But like the way that she like learned it and the way that was introduced to her, it's like they didn't set that up. They just had it happen to her. This, every damn thing is set up. And it's impressive with, especially when you consider how crazy it gets, and yet they still set it up. God damn.
Yeah, like when they were playing that, like, not charades, but that board game. Like,
Oh, the one where he was like, it was like, not like Pictionary or something, but it's like something which, it's basically $10,000 pyramid. It's some board game where it's like, you just say words, and someone has to guess what you're describing. Yeah. But.
well, it's like the word he, like the movie title they're trying to get Howard to say was Little Women, but he does not comprehend the word women. He kept saying girl, and then out of nowhere, princess. And that was really crazy.
I could tell that they were going for humor kind of on that, and I heard a few chuckles in there, but it was way more disturbing than
Yes,
funny.
it's like the fact that you cannot recognize that women grow up and become adults. It's very unsettling.
Yeah, and it's like, it's weird. I kind of would wish that had happened before they made that discovery, because then you will look back at them and like, oh god, but instead the whole time I was just in there like, oh, this is so cringeworthy. But at the same time, it's like, that was actually a good thing for his character. Like, they actually like, yeah, you can see how fucked up he is. Okay, so they have to make this self-made hazmat suit. And they have to then get the gun away from him. And yeah, then eventually he discovers that they've been planning something. and he just flat out murders Emmett. And I didn't see that coming. I was just speechless.
It's like, and the fact that he had that barrel of like, what was it, chloride?
It's again, they set everything up. In the Navy, he worked with launching satellites. This was a jet fuel chemical that they use for launching satellites. He specifically says that. So it's like, okay, there is a reason why he has this thing. And it also completely dissolves human bodies.
Yes.
And he tells them, I will put you in here so that you can still feel the pain unless you tell me why you took these scissors. And it's like, that's how fucked up this guy is. Yeah, he kills Emmett, and then now it becomes like, she's just trapped in there with this pedophile who's going to rape her. And there's a moment, he's had this beard the entire movie. After he's killed Emmett, he comes in a clean pressed shirt, fully buttoned up, clean shaven, his hair nicely parted, and it's the scariest goddamn thing you've seen this whole movie.
It is.
Because it's like, and especially like, I swear the camera had to have shot him in that moment to make him look even bigger than he actually is. Because John Goodman is a huge guy. However, when he comes in with that shirt tucked in, I'm like, you had to have put extra pillows in him. Because he looks twice as large right now, and I don't know if it's just me emotionally going, oh god, no, or if it's just they shot it specifically to make him look even bigger and more intimidating. God, yeah, it was. I do not like thinking of John Goodman in this way. No. I've always said John Goodman has two modes: super likable. What the fuck was that? I don't know if we picked that up.
Oh no, Howard's gonna run over another person.
Howard's running over someone else out there. God, that was a Mad Max horn too. But yeah, okay, so I've always said John Goodman has two modes. Super likable, super scary. He is both those in this film.
Yes.
But yeah, so then it gets to that point when she's just gotta get out. She just has to escape. And it's a great little, like, brief action sequence of her trying to escape from him as in this little tiny confined space. And it turns into such a horror film too. He even gets like the horror monster disfigurement because she throws the acid onto him. And again, it sets up everything because he introduced the idea of how he uses like aerosol spray stuff in order to turn something cold.
The freezing
spray, whatever it's called. I don't know science. But he says, yeah, it's a little trick that I picked up back in the Navy. We used to have fun with our commanding officer. We'd freeze the lock and break it off on the bathroom door when it was in there so they couldn't get out. She then climbs all the way through the vents, back into where she found that one little hatch that led out. And she takes the aerosol can, sprays it on the lock, and breaks out. I was like, God, you set everything up in this. It's so smart. And then she gets out there, and she's running around in the hazmat suit. And then she sees birds flying around, and she realizes, oh, wait a second. And then she takes the leap of faith. She takes the mask off, and there's bugs chirping. Like, life is all around her, and it's like, it's fine. And you're wondering what the heck is going on. And I was like, I would have been fine with the movie ending right here. Because the next thing that happens is that she looks out, she sees a helicopter in the distance. And when I saw that, I went, that's an oddly shaped helicopter. And she starts trying to like get its attention. But even she's like, huh, that's weird. Then when it starts flying in, it's a motherfucking spaceship. Oh, shit. And I kind of wish that they had just ended the movie there, because that would have been a Twilight Zone twist. That would have been exactly the kind of shit that they do in Twilight Zone, where it's just like, okay, everything's normal. Oh, you think something's going on outside? Oh, no, let's just stick with this human drama. The human drama, something might be over there, and then at the end, big sci-fi twist. I love those kind of Twilight Zone episodes, and that is exactly what it reminded me of. So I would have been fine with them ending it right there. However, from there, the aliens come out, start hunting her down as if she hasn't been through enough. This is like Gravity on Earth. All the shit that went wrong in Gravity, it's just happening in this farm. It's, oh god.
And she has the best reaction too. It's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yeah, she has this look of, what the, after all the shit I've been through.
It's like, now I gotta deal with this.
Then there's this asshole. God, yeah, she did. She had the best reaction to it. She had the reaction that the audience had of like, get the fuck out. She still doesn't get out of this. And it's aliens now chasing her down on this farm. And I mean, there's like a hunter creature. The car from the lady who died starts going off. The alarm light starts going off. So the monsters are attracted to that. Then the bunker that was underneath her starts blowing up. And
that was from like the
chemicals that she spilled. Yeah, it's like once again they set everything up. Also, I gotta mention this. How they set up the fucking aliens. The aliens don't just come out of nowhere. Which, in a movie with no aliens at all up until this point, they still set it up. It's so damn good. Like, when he first says, "Oh, God help us if the Martians found a way to get to Earth." It's like, okay, that's a throwaway line. You don't think about it at all. But then she's talking to Emmett, and he goes, "Yeah, I know he's a bit of a conspiracy nut. I mean, never ask him about alien sandworms," or it was something like that, some kind of like alien worm thing. Again, they set up the aliens. Then when they hear the helicopters going over, and he's like, "I worked in the Navy. That's nothing I ever heard." It's like, you're just bullshitting. But now it's like, nope, was not something he'd ever heard. And all those crazy theories of his was actually right. They set it all up. God damn. I will say I had a bit of a problem, though, with what happens from then on, because then it turns into a human being having to save the world from aliens kind of thing. Because, I mean, she's getting, like, lifted up into this giant mech. Like, it looks like a spaceship, but it's actually a giant, like, floating body armor for this giant squid monster.
Yeah, it's like, I kind of thought, like, the Cloverfield monster in the first movie was that one. Like, it was based, I had, like, this...
There's similarities, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that they might be similar, but, like, the one in the... But it's basically in, like, an Iron Man suit for a giant alien. That's how I would put it. Like,
got it, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, instead of, like, an alien running around, you have, like, an alien in a you know, giant robot armor flying around instead. So that's kind of how I always dealt with it, because they both had, like, the very same mouth.
The mouth was very similar.
Yes.
I didn't see, like, the air sacs on the side of his face. But
then again, it was, like, covered up in, like...
It was pretty covered up, yeah. So, yeah, like... So I kind of have a problem with how long they stuck with that and how long they stayed on the alien thing. Don't get me wrong, it was still so damn tense. Like, they shot that still incredibly well to be very tense. But then, like, she takes the alien out with a Molotov cocktail, which I was kind of like, I don't think that actually works. But at the same time, there's a rule about using Deus Ex Machinas in your films, which is that you should never do it unless the character has suffered so much that the audience will let them have it. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what's happened here.
Yeah.
She went through so much that I'm like, I don't think a Molotov cocktail could take out that thing. I'm gonna give it to you though, because you've been through enough.
Here's your free pass.
Yeah, exactly. So I was kind of like, but I did feel it went on like so long that I was like, this is a totally different movie. Like, and I don't mean totally different as in like, oh, now it's a science fiction thing. I was like, no, this section of her running from the aliens and fighting the aliens is so big and it's gone for so long and is so different from what we've been getting, it feels like a scene from a totally different movie now, not just like a little thing that they stuck on the end. However, and then I'll also say, before I get into the however, and then from there, she's driving away and she hears a radio signal saying like, if you can hear this, we need help in Houston. You can go to, if you need to escape, there's a safe zone in Baton Rouge, but please, if you have any medical training, if you can fight at all, please come to Houston. And then she comes to a sign that says, Baton Rouge that way, Houston that way, which I don't know where those two things are in proximity to each other, but I don't think there's an actual sign that would say just that. But then she looks at it and is like, and then she turns and goes to Houston, and I'm like, this is no longer like the Hitchcockian being captured in the house thing. This is no longer the alien war thing. This is the start of a goddamn superhero origin story. Like, this is like the Batwoman begins.
No, this is like the start of like another Independence Day movie.
Kind of is. It really is. Like in that scene, because like thunder is even crackling as she's driving towards Houston.
And when you see the thunder like glowing in the clouds, you can see like the silhouette of the giant spaceship.
Oh, I didn't even see that one.
No, you did. It's like, totally independent shit right there.
It is.
So, like, I'm wondering, like, if that kind of makes me wonder if they're gonna like keep doing the Cloverfield anthology, or if they're actually gonna do like a sequel to 10 Cloverfield Lane.
We'll get into that in a second. Because yeah, I kind of did have a problem with like, this just feels like a completely different movie. Like it feels like it has changed so much. However, as we were sitting there, as the credits were rolling, and you started pitching it, because like I said, I didn't think this was connected to Cloverfield at all. I was like, okay, so Cloverfield is just the term for an anthology of films that he wants to make, where each one is set in its own universe, but it's going to have something to do with taking a look at realistic people in like these very small microcosm situations as they are surrounded by this big apocalyptic event. Because that's really the only thing that I can think that ties them together, is that in the original Cloverfield, it wasn't the military, it wasn't scientists, it was people on the street, like real life people trying to run around and survive during this big crisis. This one, it's a real life person, it's a very tiny situation, just happening to be surrounded by this big apocalyptic thing. And I thought, okay, that's going to be all that ties them together, just this theme. But then you started telling me about how it's like, okay, well, actually the aliens do kind of look like that. And I was like, yeah, they do kind of look like the Cloverfield monster, but I don't really think, and then I started thinking, I was like, there's nothing in this movie that says it could exist in the same world. And if they did look the same, the aliens could have like sent the first Cloverfield monster to New York, and as it was attacking was the same time when they were attacking in the south, and she got like jackknifed and she was now trapped in there, so that's why there's no mention of this happening. So like, this could be the exact same thing.
There actually was a mention, like when in the beginning when she was driving out of town, she was flicking through the radio, and they mentioned something about like earthquakes and lights going on and off.
They mentioned the southern seaboard, like blackouts all across the south.
Yes.
But I was like, okay, well, the south, not New York. If they had mentioned something about New York, I would have been tuning into it. But so there isn't a mention of that. However, it is kind of like in the original Cloverfield, they did say, hey, there was some kind of an earthquake just recently. So clearly it's like, okay, stuff was happening earlier in that day. Also, she gets hit by the other car at night. The Cloverfield monster from the first one did attack at night. So I was like, this could all be happening at the same time. That first Cloverfield monster could actually be from the same like alien race. Like it could be a different alien weapon that they sent out there to attack. So I'm like, okay, I've now gone complete 360, or I've gone a complete 180 on that whole alien scene at the end, because like, okay, this just feels like it's coming from a completely different film. However, now that I can see the connection in that moment to the first Cloverfield film, I don't care if it feels like it's from a completely different film, because I can put on the conspiracy cap, I can look at this and like, oh shoot, this is all connected. And I love doing that. So I'm totally cool with it now. Okay, sorry if I've been hogging this whole conversation, but I love this whole like conspiracy stuff, like looking at small details and trying to take them apart. And you're giving me like brand new information as I go that I didn't pick up on, so I'm working through it throughout the course of this video. But yeah, you were just saying this idea of should they do a sequel to 10 Cloverfield Lane, or should they do another anthology that's kind of like set in this world at that moment of the attack? Which would you think?
I would like some sort of combination of both. Because, like, if they do make another, like, Cloverfield-esque movie, I think it would be really cool if if it took place in Houston. Because at the at the end of the movie, Michelle will come in and she will be able to help out, or like do something, or at least make some sort of cameo.
Yeah, like here's the thing, I love the idea of them just showing different parts of the world all over. And like not really doing a sequel. Because I'm loving this idea that, okay, we saw what happened up in New York. Now we saw what happened down in the South at this time. I would love for them to I would love for them to then go, like, say, over to the West Coast, maybe do like something in California, or maybe then go to just a completely different country, like, you know, show what's happening in London at this moment. But if they stuck in America, they could do a great thing, which they have, you know, like someone related to her, because she's mentioning, hey, I need to contact my parents, make sure they're okay. Although I just thought of this, we get a phone call from her ex, Brad, and we hear him on the phone trying to say, he's like, hey, listen, just come back, it's gonna be okay, alright? Brad was played by Bradley Cooper, they got a really big ass name to come in just to do a voice on the phone. And it made me think, as we were saying this, what if they signed him on because they signed him on for a 2-picture deal? What if the next one is Brad? Yeah, or you couldn't really do this. Here's one of the problems, though. I was going to also suggest, in Cloverfield, it comes down to that group of 4 people left. Or 5, actually. 5 people left. The main character, his girlfriend, the guy with the camera, the girl the guy with the camera had the crush on, and also the girlfriend to the protagonist's brother. The protagonist's brother dies, and as they're trying to load up onto the helicopters, the brother's girlfriend gets on one of the helicopters, and they're like, we'll fall behind you, we'll fall behind you, and then you see that one leaving. They get on the next helicopter, their helicopter goes down. So that's one thing that I always thought about with that first movie, was that, oh, someone in their group actually did survive. And so I was going to say, you could also have her in there, but then I realized the original Cloverfield was 8 years ago. If this is all happening within the course of one night, or over the course of just a couple of days, you couldn't really do that. So
that kind of reminds me, it's like the first Cloverfield was like shot like camera angles with cameras and everything. Handheld, that's right, yeah, that's the thing.
For once, I'm not the one who forgot a word.
Yes.
Right.
But like in 10 Cloverfield Lane, it was shot cinematically.
Yeah.
And that's good because the handheld thing would not have worked for this.
Cloverfield is one of my favorite monster movies of all time. I had to get up twice during that movie and just walk outside and go, because I almost threw up in that film. So yeah, I'm fine with them dropping the handheld.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if they're going to bring it back if they do make another one.
I would actually be okay with that. First off, because we've gotten way better with handheld technology, with stabilized cameras. So they're not as bad even when they are handheld. But I would also kind of prefer that, because then it would be way easier to slip in Michelle's cameo, because you could have her like there at this place and like you just see the camera like quickly pan by her or something like that. But also, like, we saw the initial attack in New York. This one showed us the beginning of like the survivors. If you go to like a different part of the country, you could then go like a year after this has happened, and I think that you could do some really cool, like, you know, someone trying to document this. Someone's like, no, we have to record like our struggles and stuff. So I can totally see that working. But at the same time, I'm fine with them dropping it. This is not a deal breaker for me. It's like, you gotta go back to that. It's like, no, they didn't have it in this one. I'm totally cool with it. Tell you what, if they did do like a straight up sequel, would you want them to go more science fiction-y with it? Like, because that's the thing that I loved about both these Cloverfield films, is that they are, like I said, human. It's a look at like just humans trying to exist while the apocalypse is happening around them. But if they were going to actually go and try and now fight these things, I don't know if you could do that. That's my big concern with the idea of doing a straight up sequel. What do you think?
I don't know. It's hard to say. Because, like, basically at the end of 10 Cloverfield Lane, it's just like, we just need someone to help, but that doesn't mean they're going to,
Well, didn't they also say on the radios, like, we can take them down, or something like that? Like, I want to say they said, we're winning, or we can take them down, something like that.
I'm not entirely sure. Like, it's hard to keep a human while still being like super powerful. We can fight off these evil aliens, kind of thing.
Like I said, the ending shot of her driving off towards Houston while the thunder crackles there is like, that's the beginning of a goddamn superhero movie. Okay, this is her going off there to save the planet.
Although, like, if this was supposed to be like fighting against aliens via realistically, you think everyone will end up dead?
Oh, because realistically we wouldn't win?
No, because, like, that's kind of what happened at the end of Cloverfield. Like, the people...
Oh, shit, yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're right. I get what you're saying now. Yeah. Yeah, it ends with them all dead. Although, this is a weird thing to me, is that, like, the more I'm thinking about this, and its relationship to that first Cloverfield film, the government clearly knew what Cloverfield was. Like, I mean, the military guys didn't know what they were fighting. But you always got this sense that this was something the government knew about. So, if they are connected... God, I'm going like total conspiracy. Because if they are connected, then that would mean that the government has some knowledge of these aliens, and maybe it's one they've been experimenting on.
Like, so maybe, like...
God damn.
Maybe in the sequel/anthology, instead of people trying to fight the aliens, it's people trying to find out what the government is hiding. I
can see that, because I love the mystery of it, but at the same time, it's like, once you get to movie 3, it's time you start explaining a little bit of stuff. I could see that being like, it's just somebody who stumbles upon it. Like, somebody who is, like, left in a base that gets, like, emptied out or something. Like, everybody in the military has to run off to face this thing. And, like, they're the kid of someone who works in the military or something, and they're left there. And they're slowly, like, exploring it, and they're coming across, like, other experiments that they've done. Or they're watching the devastation happening from the alien invasion all around the world on, like, the different monitors that they have. And they wouldn't be left at a base entirely by themselves, but, you could introduce other people there who's like, I can't tell you about that. And, like, they're trying to bond with them in order to get them to admit to them, like, what's going on and what they do or do not know. So there is stuff that you could do with that and still keep it human. But yeah, man, I'm still just trying to think of so many things, but let's talk about, like, how we felt about the actual film, because you can probably tell from how excited we were. But I just gotta say, we had to take the train into town, and typically when we take the train to town for something, we're like, we're not just going to the movie, we're going to, like, take advantage of the fact that we're actually in town. We're not just gonna head right back. As soon as this movie was over, it was like, I just want to get home, because I am exhausted after this movie.
This movie is so tense that, like, I literally had to, like, stretch out once it was over, because, like, my muscles were all tensed up from how much suspense there was.
I had to pee halfway through this movie, and I just sat there because I was like, something is about to happen. Like, every single second of this film has that feeling of something is about to happen. Like, is it just me, or, like, every 5 seconds did you expect them to turn around and see John Goodman standing right behind them? Like, every single time in which they were, like, talking about their plan to, like, break out of there, plan to take away the gun, I was like, they're gonna turn around and he's gonna be right fucking there. I know it. Like, or when she finally got out of there. Last we saw John Goodman, he was dissolved in motherfucking acid.
And exploded.
And then the base exploded, and yet still, as she was out there in the field, like in that moment of silence, I expected her to turn around and he would just be there, like, half his face melted off, like, just full on.
Just like the Terminator. Dun 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 dun.
I don't mean any disrespect to John Goodman, but that'd be the worst Terminator design of all time. We have to send back a Terminator to kill Sarah Connor. We just sent all the good ones. This one's kind of out of shape, and he also kind of molests kids, so, he might get distracted and go off and build a bunker for a couple of years. Oh, shit. God damn. I'm joking, but every fucking time that there was a moment of silence, I was doing this thing, because I was expecting her to just turn around and bam, John Goodman.
I was like, I don't want to see, it's not, why are you laughing about?
I'm thinking of bam, John Goodman out of nowhere. Just like, I want that to be a meme online. Just someone on Tumblr just make the random John Goodman, just a picture of John Goodman just says, bam, John Goodman is right behind you. It's like, but yeah, what were you going to say?
I was going to speaking of suspension and everything, I was always curious about, like, how the aliens are gonna, like, get involved with it and when they're gonna show up. And it's not that I did not like. It's not like I was getting frustrated, like, oh, when are the aliens gonna show up? I was like, yes, but
you were looking for, like,
yes, I was looking for clues as to where and when and how and the aliens are gonna get involved in everything. But like you said, there's, like, a lot of suspense and.
Yeah, and I was doing that in the beginning too. Like, every single, like, little sound, I was like, could that be an alien? Could that be an alien? But when it got to that moment when she found, like, that tunnel that led out with a little glass at the top.
That had help on it.
When she found that, I kept looking at it like, there's gonna be an alien fly by. There's gonna be something fly by. She's gonna see like a tentacle or something go past. And when that didn't happen, and she found that was the help message, and they discovered they were trapped in a bunker with a fucking murderous pedophile, I was like, oh, no aliens. Like, in my mind, all thoughts of aliens or this being connected to the other Cloverfield monster, gone. Like, I was 100% like,
Then she got out, it's like, surprise, aliens!
That's why, like I said, you were probably sitting there like, oh, finally. I was there like, get the fuck out. It was aliens all along? Jesus.
Well, I just thought it'd be weird if it was, like, tied into Cloverfield, but, like, did not have any, like, aliens involved.
I totally see that, but at the same time, I was like, okay, this is his anthology of, like, Twilight Zone stuff. And there were actually a handful, not a lot of them, but a couple of Twilight Zone episodes that were like, yeah, this is not science fiction at all, it's just pure human drama. It's just really weird, messed up stuff. Like, they were very few and far between, but so, like, when it found that part, I was like, okay, there's still the apocalyptic thing happening out there. There's still the chemical attack. So there is some big, larger-than-life thing happening, and it is people trying to survive within that. So that is connected to the other Cloverfield just in theme. And also in fucking aliens. So yeah, it's like there is indeed something that's connected. Yeah, any other, like, closing comments you want to make on this?
I'm just completely worn out from all the tension and conspiracy theories. I'm seriously just fried
This
now.
is a movie that will wear you the fuck out.
It will.
And I will just say this is one of the few films that I have watched that has actually worn me out in a good way, because I watched a lot of movies that wore me out because they were so bad. This is one of the few ones that wore me out because it was like I was just tensing my muscles for like an hour and a half.
Like working those muscles in the brain and everything. So it's a great movie, but don't see it like too early in the day because you'll just be wasted.
You're done. You're done. You're out. So yeah, that's good advice. I will also just close by saying this. Like I said, the post Geek Out reactions are different from reviews because these are just simply our thoughts, as you can tell, as they're coming to us. And the reviews, I do actually sit down and plan out more. However, I had to create some kind of a rule. So the rule is the reviews are only going to be things that you guys request of me. You have to actually tell me in the comments of any of my other review videos, I want to see you review this. Right before we recorded this, someone commented, I'm officially requesting 10 Cloverfield Lane. And I was like, all right, gotta do it. So these are my thoughts right now as they were coming to me. But after I've had like another week or two to sit down and think them out, because next week is Gravity Falls, week after that is Batman vs. Superman, but week after that will be 10 Cloverfield Lane, and when I've actually had the time to sit down and think about it, I might have some different thoughts on this. So yeah, make sure that you stick around, stay tuned for that. If you want to see some of the other post-Geek Out reactions we've done, because we've now officially done 2 of them, so you can actually watch them. I will have them up at the end of this video. If you want to see more from Michelle, she's going to start having stuff on her own channel, so just click over her face. And if you want to subscribe, then click over my face. So, okay, and there's the 2 videos I was talking about right down there. So, alright. Thanks, everybody. Come back next time.
Bye.
I'm fucking tired.
Me too.